Hey y'all, it's Dark Sugar Podcast coming to you fresh out the packet with everything black.
Hey y'all, it's your girl Kiana, the host of Dark Sugar Podcast. I'm feeling inspired. It's December. It's the holidays. We're coming into 2022. We're setting boundaries. We're defending ourselves. We're standing up for ourselves. What else are we doing? We're just doing a whole lot of... We're doing shit differently. And that's honestly been the biggest turning point for me this past week. It's really funny because I literally posted yesterday saying, I've been really going through it. I haven't been able to record since October, which is true. My biggest thing is consistency. You guys know that. I try to release 2 episodes a month. With my social anxiety and things going on, that's my attainable goal. But November was just really, really tough for me. And for those of you that have been following for a long time and listening for a long time, you know that I try to be as transparent as possible when I'm going through really tough shit. And half the time, the topic that I choose is because I'm actively going through, whatever I'm talking about and speaking on. And so I definitely feel like with trauma and how it affects your personality and relationships, like, what the fuck? That's been the base of what I've been going through my whole life, especially the past month. That's been like an entire theme. So I've really been feeling led to okay, Kiana, you can do it. Get back on the mic, speak your truth, say what's going on and how you're feeling. Because I can be really in my head a lot of the time. I can be so analyzing, intellectual, trying to look at things every single different way and whatever. But, I'm really trying to learn how to feel. And how I feel is just I want to be more honest and I want to present just my more authentic self. And so, trauma completely changes your personality, okay? It changes the way you look on life. It changes your perspective. It can influence your behaviors. It does influence your behaviors. And it can be the forefront of how you present yourself and how you communicate if you let it and if you're not careful. For me, I made this connection recently that in a lot of my relationships, and this is not just romantic sexual relationships or anything like that, partnerships, this is with me and my mom, with me and my friends. I realized, you guys, a couple nights ago, I completely broke down to my core and I was really struggling. And in my struggle, and it was just I was crying and I kind of didn't know what I was crying about, just feeling fed up and angry with myself. And this memory kind of came into my head of, and it's a real memory, and that's what kind of hurts, and I've suppressed it for so long, but this memory came into my head of me being a very little girl, and my dad's about to leave for the 100th time, and I'm crying. Him and my mom had just gotten in a fight, and I'm crying, and I'm like, Dad, please don't go, please, 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 please. And I'm thinking I'm crying, so he should stay, right? And he's like, I'm so sorry, but I need to leave. And I was like, what? And I just didn't really get it. But unfortunately, he had his own trauma swirling around in his head, and he couldn't really present himself as the father that I needed him to be growing up due to his own things. And the one thing, you guys, and this is such an ego moment for me, so I'm patting myself on the back right now because I'm so proud of myself for admitting this, because when I admit it, it makes me want to freak the fuck out and just stop recording and delete my podcast altogether, because my pride wants me to think that I'm the perfect person, right? I'm an Enneagram 2. My prideful I'm an Enneagram 2, and my and my vice, or whatever you call it, is pride. I'm prideful. And the thing about it is, I didn't know I was prideful because I think I'm so humble because I'm a helper, right? So I'm thinking I'm the perfect daughter. I'm the perfect person. I never get angry. Ooh, if you're angry, that means that because I haven't had healthy models of anger in my life. I've seen my mom angry, and that's because she's held it in for so damn long that at that point, she just goes to 110 and doesn't care who's there. So I would pride myself in not being angry with people. And I would tell my dad, I was never angry with you. Like, I was never, I understood, because intellectually, I completely understood at a very young age. Okay, something is wrong with your dad. He cannot be a normal dad. And we feel really bad for him. We, as in like me and my inner child. I'm like speaking in third person, which has been a kind of helpful. Mama. My mom just scared the shit out of me. I'm sorry, my mom just scared the shit out of me. I'm recording and she just like came out of nowhere from the corner of my eye. People can't do that. Don't sneak up on podcasters when they're podcasting. That should just be a rule. God damn, she scared the shit out of me. Okay. Ooh, Jesus. All right. What was I saying? So I was prideful in that I would tell my dad for the longest time I never got angry. I totally understand why you left and you couldn't be there. It's fine. I understand. It's fine. I forgive you. I did forgive him. I do understand. But that memory came back to me and I was like, oh shit, Kiana, like you were sad. Him leaving does affect you. My abandonment wound, how that trauma affects me in my relationships, one, is that the people that I love dearly close to me, I people please around them and I'm fake around them sometimes because I think, I need to be perfect because if I'm not perfect, they'll leave. And I didn't really know that. I knew that, but I didn't have a memory to connect it with. And yeah, a couple of days that memory just came up. As I'm going through this healing journey, and repressed memories have been coming up like maybe every couple of months, to be honest. But yeah, that one came up and I was kind of like, oh shit, like, like that really affected me subconsciously. And yeah, and if I look at my past relationships, them leaving felt like I'm gonna die if you leave. And that is a trauma symptom that we're starting to talk about more. But yeah, if I thought, and because, I know my parents kind of broke up after I was born. Like I was definitely a surprise, like no one was planning on me. And so, and I didn't also know that subconsciously, I think that the reason my dad left was because of me, because he couldn't be a dad. And the reason he's a dad is because I'm his daughter. And intellectually, I know that's not true, but I had to go into my heart and I'm like, oh, Kiana, like that actually does really bother you and hurt, and that does hurt you. And you need to be honest, put that ego down and say, actually, and I was lying, y'all. I've been told my dad I told my dad maybe last week that I was like, Dad, I was never angry. I literally said that to him because he does sometimes. He'll waddle and be like, oh, whoa, I wasn't there for you, whoa. And he's apologized. We talked about it so many times, but I think because of his dementia and other things, he'll just like repeat it and go back sometimes. And I mean, like, also, it's not that I'm gonna tell him, actually, I was angry at you because, I just didn't know, like, I'm not gonna tell him that, but the missing piece was I didn't actually know that I had an emotional response to him leaving. I couldn't ever remember, but it came to me and I was like, oh no, you know? So yeah, that's how my trauma with my dad affects my relationships. And even with my mom, I noticed, because I live with my mom currently, I noticed that because I'm scared, because I'm scared of her leaving me too, or not being perfect enough for her, I'll people please around her and not be myself and do weird things and be very anxious and have like this doomsday mentality. And I just don't want to operate in that way anymore. Like, I understand my trauma core and my wound, but I'm like, oh no, I don't want to. I want to keep healing and keep growing to a point where I'm just more honest and more authentic, and I'm not operating from that space, you know? I don't want to do that. And for my personality, trauma has just made me so anxious. I grew up in a very chaotic household from the age of like 5 to like 12, 9, 10, 12. It was like a lot of screaming, a lot of uncertainty, a lot of me just trying to regulate my mom's emotions. So that made me very, very anxious. And my personality, I can be very anxious. I can disassociate. And when I disassociate, I get awkward and I'm not myself. You know, and I have that wound of you're not enough, you're not worthy, you're too much. If you're too much, they'll leave, so just never be too much. And I can just start hyper obsessing over that person. Like, I need to make sure they're okay so I can be okay. When I'm like, wait, I don't have to do that anymore. Like, yes, I understand at a point I did have to do that with my mom as a child, but I don't need to do that with a friend, with a boyfriend, with somebody that I meet, with somebody that I only know from work. Like, I need to chill. I'm chilling. Okay? Like, I'm so awake now to where I was operating from. And, you know I'll relapse and I'm human, but having that realization now of how trauma has affected my personality and the relationships that I have, I just want to be more whole. So there's more of me to love, and more of me to connect with. It's just, it's just really beautiful. I just want everyone to know that there is hope for you just connecting more with yourself and realigning back with yourself. Like, it is possible. You can do it. Meditation has really helped me. Breath work has helped me. Therapy, I do EMDR. I'm trying to go back into the gym, do some movement every day, every week, and just live more. My mom tells me, she's like, move into your heart. You're so in your head. Move into your heart. And yeah, I don't know. I thought I was... You can work. There is a such thing as like working on yourself too much. I've definitely been feeling that lately. I've been feeling like, man, I'm working on myself so much to the point where I'm burnt out and then not operating the way I want to, and self-sabotaging and people pleasing. Like, I need to, like, in your healing process through your trauma, it's okay to like put it down for a day or two or a week or two, and then pick it back up when you're ready. Like, it's okay to like live and relax and enjoy. Like, subconsciously, I think I need to work on myself and then I'll be perfect. And then once I'm perfect, then it like I'm just really, I told my therapist, I'm like very aware of myself. And she's like, yeah, almost like too aware. And I'm like, what? And it's like, yeah, there is such a thing, and yeah, the people pleasing, I think that's the biggest effect from trauma on my if I can identify an overlap, it's people pleasing. That affects my personality and my relationships. It makes me act so weird. When I people please, I act so weird. Like, you guys, when I'm thinking about me people pleasing right now, I feel like a different person in comparison. I'm so anxious. I'm out of touch with myself. I'm sad. I'm in denial. The biggest thing is I'm in denial of my feelings. I'm sad, but I'm in denial that I'm sad. I'm depressed, but I'm trying not to show it. It's just this mess. I feel like just unregulated, dysregulated, unregulated, dysregulated. I don't know if that's right. And it's just the worst feeling. And then it affects my relationships because I'm not being honest. I'm not being my true self. I'm saying yes when I want to say no. I'm hovering over them, doing too much assuming and mind reading, not asking enough questions. It just makes me like, I don't know, like, ew, I just don't like it. It just doesn't make me, and it's like, I want to be helpful. I am a helpful person. I'm a giving person. I'm very, very submissive, like, to a fault. And I can still be those things and have those personality traits just like in a healthier way. You know, I can integrate them. But yeah, people pleasing across the board, it just is so stressful. It makes me so anxious. Oh Lord, it makes me so anxious. I'm just like thinking about it. I'm just so not myself. I had a really big epiphany yesterday about how I've been people pleasing for the past like month and a half, and I didn't even kind of know I was, or I knew I was just so not in touch with myself, you guys. And I feel way better now, and I've had better support and realizations, and I'm just being more honest with myself. But yeah, also, people pleasing makes me not ask for help, which is just dumb as fuck, because my inner critic is loud, my ego's loud. So when I really, really need help, that's when they're really loud, and they're like, okay, yes, this is the time you don't ask for help. And I'm like, what? But I need help. And they're like, yeah, but you'll seem weak, so we're not gonna say anything, and you're just gonna be quiet. And so I've had to fight that this past week, and I've had to reach out for help and connect with people and actually put my ego down and be like, you know what, fuck that, I'm gonna be real and connect. I'm not gonna act like I'm perfect and I have everything going on. And the reason I do that is because I think the people closest to me are gonna leave when they have told me, hey, we love you, we're not leaving. So instead of listening to my trauma, which is what I'm modeling, like in my head, like everyone's gonna leave, I need to trust that was then, this is now. And that's why kind of when I feel it building up inside, I need to tell my inner child, like, I need to little Kiana, I know like little you is upset because they're upset, but big Kiana is gonna be calm, okay? Like, and I know that sounds like really weird, but it's like, we're gonna be calm right now. Like, I know this is really scary. You might be in a conflict or you might disagree with somebody, but we're gonna be okay. And you know, y'all, I didn't know I was doing it that deep. It's like peeling back a layer. And what it is when I peel back a layer, I get really excited. I'm like, oh my God, I just realized this. There's a layer. Oh my God, I just had all these realizations. Oh, so I must be perfect, I guess. And then I just chill on that. And then when something else happens, I get really shamed. I feel a lot of shame. Like when I reached out for help this week, I was just like, yo, I'm not feeling like myself. I need help. I need to connect with somebody. I'm depressed. That was so out of character for my ego. I didn't really want to do that, but I like had to. And your ego really prevents you from connection. If you operate out of a space from your ego, if you're operating out of a space from your trauma, it's harder to connect with people. Sometimes impossible. You can see it with narcissists. Because their trauma wound is literally outside of their body and it's on their skin, which is why they're so defensive, you know? So definitely just have more compassion. Honestly, you guys, I've been so hard on myself through this whole process, and I want to live a little more in a healthy way. And I want to just be more myself, because that's what the people around you, that's what they want. The people that love you, that's what they want. Like, don't fuck things up because you're operating from your trauma. It does affect your relationships, but it can also, it does affect your personality and relationship, but it's reversible. There's hope, So yeah, stay warm.